Today we're in New Orleans, exploring one of the oldest and strangest surviving buildings in the entire city, the Old Ursuline Convent. It's a place full of history, mystery, and one of those dramatic legends of New Orleans has ever cooked up. And at the end, I'll tell you what happened when me and Key visited. The history. The Old Ursuline Convent building we see today was authorized by King Louis XV in 1745 and completed around 1752 or 1753. It's one of the oldest buildings in the Mississippi Valley. Built in the French colonial style you rarely see outside of Europe. Before this building existed, the Ursuline nuns lived in two earlier convents, one temporary and one that turned out to be so badly constructed for the Louisiana climate. When that building started deteriorating, the king personally ordered this one to be built to last. These nuns came from France with a mission: educate girls, care for the sick, and bring structure and stability to a chaotic new colony. They arrived in July of 1727 after a brutal 5-month journey across the ocean and immediately began building hospitals, orphanages, and schools. Their Ursulines founded the first girls' school in Louisiana, the first boarding school, the first music school, and one of the earliest hospitals, and the country's first licensed female pharmacist, Sister Frances Xavier. Their classrooms even became an infirmary during the War of 1812. In 1824, the sisters moved to a newer convent downriver, but this building has always been known as the Old Ursuline Convent. Over the centuries, it served as a school, a boys' academy, the archbishop's residence, the first public school in the city, and the seat of Louisiana legislature from 1831 to 1834. It became a National Historic Landmark in 1968. Hurricane Katrina caused major damage, but the convent was restored and reopened in 2007. Now, here's where things get weird and very New Orleans. There's a legend that in 1728, a group of young French women arrived in New Orleans carrying small coffin-shaped trunks called cassettes. These were basically luggage, but the shape reminded people of caskets. The story claims that these women were pale, fragile, and strange enough that locals whispered, vampires. According to the legend, their belongings were stored on the sealed third floor of the convent, and when the nuns later checked, the trunks were completely empty. People said that the girls must have been transporting something or someone from the old world. The shutters on the third floor were supposedly nailed shut with nails blessed by the Pope himself to keep something inside. The myth goes even further. In the 1970s, two paranormal investigators camped outside the convent. Their cameras supposedly captured the third floor shutters opening and closing before the footage went black. The next morning, both men were found dead, drained of blood. It's a dramatic story, a terrifying one, and so completely fictional. Here's the truth. Casket wasn't even used to mean a coffin until the mid-1800s. The girls' trunks were just luggage, not vampire containers. There is no evidence of anyone thought they were vampires at the time. The sealed attic windows today are modern hurricane shutters. The third floor contains church archives and nothing else. Most of the women actually made good marriages, raised families, and became part of the city's early Creole heritage. The vampire angle appears to have come in much later, probably fueled by tourism, ghost tours, and, of course, my favorite, the Anne Rice era of New Orleans. Vampire obsession. I can get behind that. But as with all good folklore, the story's stuck. Key found this place and booked it into our birthday week in New Orleans. When we first arrived, our alarms had been going off for hours, and so we were bracing for chaos, loud, overstimulating, probably a quick visit. But the moment we walked inside, the alarm stopped, just went silent. And suddenly we were alone in this massive, calm, sacred space. The history exhibits were great, but for me, it was the reliquary that caught my attention. I'm not Catholic and I never want to be disrespectful, but a room filled with preserved bones and body parts and carefully framed in gold and displayed like pieces of art. Creepy? Yeah. Amazing? Also, yeah. If I'm being honest, I would absolutely display things like this in my home. The chapel was so peaceful and bright. They had these small blue candles that you could light for a donation. So I put my donation in, wrote my mom's name on the candle, and said a prayer for her. Lit it and went about my way. It turned into this unexpected moment of connection with her spirit. She would have loved that chapel. It was beautiful. As we walked, a statue caught my eye. Saint Rosalia. I didn't know her name then, but she felt like peace. She was holding a Bible and a skull in one hand and a cross in another, and something about her spoke directly to me. When I got back to the hotel that night, I hunted down a statue of her online, and only today did I learn that she's the patron saint of plague victims, healing during crisis, and protection from isolation, which fits my life all too well. Key found another incredible place for us to visit with deep roots, powerful history, and wonderfully creepy legends to go along with it. It's a good thing she's my bestie. Good job, Key. You've made my travels way more personal than I ever expected. Well, that's it for me. Thanks for listening to me talk to myself. If you'd like this content, press like, comment if you want to, subscribe if you want more. Until next time, wander often, wonder always, and stay safe on the back roads.